And in 5, 4, let's take it live, folks. Hi, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Craft and Chaos. This is our little show about climbing Mount Creativity. Sherpa-less. That's right. We are Sans Sherpa here and living to tell the buzzy, gory, and sometimes quite heroic tales. I am Mandy Fabian, filmmaker and nutjob, and I am joined by the freakishly productive creative writer and podcaster Pete Wright, novelist most likely to be mistaken for a race car driver Ryan Dalton, and legendary playwright Kyle Olson, who was recently hired by ChatGPT because they were running out of new ideas. Thank you, everybody, for coming on board our little hike today. And go team go. Hi, everybody.
Streaming from the race car today. So, yeah.
That's right. So happy to be at the base of the mountain with you all.
Oh, God. I really thought we were like midway.
Oh, are we?
Oh, then we're in trouble.
Okay.
No, that nothing.
Oh, Jesus, I gotta check my
screams
notes.
success. At this
Oh, my
point.
God. This week, I'm bringing lots of fun. It's fun for me, but I don't think it's fun for everyone. But the general concept of truth. I don't know about you guys, but in my family, I'm a truth teller, and they hate me for it. And I'm really curious about how we use it in our work and to ourselves. And I'm wondering, just first off, like, how are you? Is there anything that has struck you in the face? Have there been any big revelations creatively this week for any of you? I could go first. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah. Say if you got something on in the chamber, fire away.
See what I mean? Honesty, it's not easy for everybody, especially in the business of show. We don't like to reveal our little underbellies. Is that what they're called? Underbellies? Anyway, I have been doing something that was very scary. This week, this wasn't scary. I went on a writer's retreat in Portugal, and it was actually really nice. But I know. Luxury.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry?
No,
your
I mean,
hardship
it was
is
scary because
overwhelming.
they didn't have gluten-free granola, and I was like, did I have granola?
What a nightmare.
Oh my God. Is this going to be like yin yoga? Because I really prefer an ashtanga. No, I was working on a book. This is my first time writing a book that I started before my kids were born. And it is I'm writing a book to my teenage girls, and I am freaking loving it. But it is so much work. And way more work than I thought. I was like, I'm going to go for a week and just like get it done because I'm pretty much almost there. I have so many ideas.
Pause for 5 minutes of a laugh break.
I really thought I was so much further. And then every bit that I was like, I'll write that bit. I was like, oh my God, it's like, oh my God, it's taking me 4 hours and I'm still not.
I have to create all the words, not just some of them.
And then I have to edit them because they're not perfect when they just come out of my body the first time. So newfound deep respect for you, Ryan.
Well, thanks. Well, for one thing, congrats on diving in and
absolutely
being, willing to do it and put in the work. That's super cool. Is it fiction or nonfiction?
It is nonfiction. It is it's called You're Okay, Go Play. And it is basically a handbook for life that I wish that my mother had given me. Everything from how to deal with the big topics. I mean, I'm seriously like death, sex, religion, God, friendship, romance, dating, all of it. But then I'm also doing these little things of like, what do you do when you get a parking ticket? How do you?
That's awesome.
Why should you floss your teeth with in that disgusting mouth hole you have? Stuff like that.
Does every chapter open with "Here's another thing that bitch my mother never told me"?
Yeah. It's bringing up a lot of wow, was I unprepared?
Yeah, that's right.
Catharsis, Volume 1.
Memoir and Vindication by Mandy Fabian.
It's so true. It's so true.
Well, say you've already got the elevator pitch down, so kudos on that.
Thank you.
I've finished projects and been able to go, well, it's like, but there's also, and a kind of, I mean, you've already got your bullet points ready. So that's already you have a map
Thank you.
of where you're going.
Yeah.
It's a miracle because I can also not do that for any of the scripts I've ever written. I'm always like, "You have 5 minutes? I could tell you." And then in act 2, so yeah, I get it. Has anybody else had a fun, like, surprise this week?
I'm doing it's something interesting. I'm writing right now. I'm mid draft, mid first draft on this novel that I'm working on, and it was an idea. I sort of alluded to it. I think last time we talked, I said I had an old idea that I just kind of randomly heard the right song and ended up coming with the right solution. And I thought, okay, while this is hot, I'm going to try to just blaze through this first draft. So I'm about 12,000 words in at the moment. So still very much in the beginning stages, but it's cracking along. However, this is it's a thriller, which I've never really written a full on thriller before. I've done mysteries, I've done other things, but yeah, it's a thriller mystery. But one thing I'm discovering about myself is that in the non-serious, non-thriller scenes, I can't not write quirky characters being weird and funny. So like I go into a scene expecting it to be sort of tense and ominous, and just because these are kind of seed scenes right now that are setting things up, but I can't make the supporting characters be tense and ominous. They are silly billies, and they continue to be silly and to make little remarks and have little quirks. And I was telling some of my family this yesterday. I was like, maybe I just have to accept that I'll never write anything wholly serious. It'll have to be like thriller comedies where you've got the funny, like funny silly, and then things get real. And but yeah, that's just been an interesting revelation to me that whatever gear I'm in writing wise, a little bit of comedy is apparently, like, I'm permanently stuck in a little bit of comedy no matter what else I'm writing.
That probably means one day you're gonna have to come up with, I don't know, another pseudonym. Maybe have you considered J.K. Rowling? I think that's probably available. And write something completely straight, because nobody will believe that it's even possible for you. That'll be a fun little bit of mad science.
I think the fortunate thing is that it's not like I ascribe any greater value to wholly serious stuff. So it's not like I feel like, oh, I want to be taken seriously as a writer, because I don't feel that way at all. I was just going for a different tone because it's a different type of book, but some of the old me is inevitably going to creep in, I guess.
For sure.
Well, we would hope so. I mean, because we have everyone else.
Right. Yeah.
So I will say this is going to come up starting. This is, I guess, a humble brag than being humbled, because I'm going to do like a flex, but don't worry, I'm going to screw it up by the end. So I had someone reach out to me to want to do one of my plays. So they reached out and said, play an older thing. It's probably like 10 years old. I hadn't even looked at it. And they said, found it. They liked it. They wanted to do it. And I vetted them, because my first thought was, well, this is clearly a bot that someone is sicked on me to try and get, like, oh yeah, all you need to do is send us information on your PayPal and then we'll get the deal. But they're a real human being who wanted to really do it. And the weird thing is they had contacted me on Instagram, which I was like, already seemed a little suspect. And then I realized why, because I went back to my page on New Play Exchange and realized I had never posted my contact information on that page. For years, I've been posting my scripts as like, hey, if you want to do my scripts, here they are available. Zero contact information.
The phantom playwrights.
Yes, it's like the exact it's just like, here they all are, and you'll never find me.
I did not see that twist coming, Kyle. That's the best.
I know. I was like, I am so bad at this.
Well, don't you write under the name Diablo Cody? Isn't that why?
Oh, yeah. Well, I dance under the name Diablo Cody, so I can see why that could be a little bit.
That's right. That's right. I'm sorry I missed your show, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, God. Well, there's only 10 seats. They fill up fast.
Intimate.
Yeah, so it's moving forward. So like as the contracts are being done and all that kind of stuff too, and it's great because it's like a play I had sort of like written and sort of tossed to the wind. Like, it's never had a table reading, it's never had anything. It just, I was like, okay, well, clearly no one likes this, and so off to the dustbin it went. And then suddenly this person, and so kudos to her, because not only did she find it, read it, liked it. She then had to do detective work to track me down to find me to get this thing. Oh God, I'm the worst. Like I can't.
That is so
That's
good.
great. But are they going to do it? Is it?
They're gonna do it.
Oh,
They're gonna do it. Yeah, yeah. So I know. I I'm gonna like this. I've already been being paid twice this year to write, which is a brand new record for me. So
Nice.
it's kind of amazing. But I am my own worst enemy.
I have said time and time again, it is stupid that your stuff isn't produced more. And now I realize
why?
It's on you.
Because no one can find me.
It really was stupid. We just didn't know who was stupid.
That's right.
That was the part.
Who's responsible for the stupid?
Just tell people
Oh
you've
my
been
God.
playing the long game, building
That's
up a lot of anticipation.
Like
Make them
the
want
little
it that
Dutch boy
bad.
takes his thumb out of the dike.
My arch nemesis has been walking by me in the mirror every day.
Did you
But there's
make
only
your
one
wife?
set of footsteps in the sand. What could be going wrong?
Did you make your wife like look you up after your first date? Like, is this a trend for you?
Oh God!
I'll see you again if you can find me.
I find that way too funny, only because like it is exactly the kind of thing I feel like I would do, and so it's ridiculous. And I really appreciate you like actually coming to the panel with that story
like,
because I
hey,
needed it.
If
this
people
week.
out there,
Yeah,
if you want
that's
people
really
to
good.
build your stuff, be findable.
Very brave.
Yeah,
Very
See, these are the
brave.
kind of pro level tips that people come here for.
exactly.
right.
This kind of leads into what I wanted to talk about, like brutal honesty. This kind of like, you know, when you're noodling in your work, like my question really is, because I use the truth in a lot of my stuff, right? Like I am inspired by true events. I very typically, even outrage, especially the more outrageous a scenario is, to be honest, it's usually a scenario that has actually happened. That way, in the room, when they go, I'm sorry, that's just not believable, I can be like, call this person because it really happened. Like I can actually say, I know it's not believable, but it's real. And I'm just wondering, like, for you guys, how much of that, you know, inspires you or infiltrates your work at all? Because I've often wondered, I'm like, am I just not creative or am I just inspired by honest things? You know, sometimes it's a theme, but I'm just curious if you guys, you know, use that, or like if you like the things that are inspired by true events.
This is actually a very timely question for me. Over on the Next Reel podcast, we're doing a series on movies that are true stories of people stuck in their own fraud. We're calling the series True Lies. And we've done Can You Ever Forgive Me? About Lee Israel, the author who started fabricating letters. You know, by Noel Coward and et cetera. Fantastic. We did The Hoax. Richard Gere writes a book, an autobiography of Howard Hughes that he thought he could get away with not telling Howard Hughes he was doing it because he thought the guy wouldn't come out of hiding. Shattered Glass, the story of Stephen Glass at the New Republic, just making stuff up from whole cloth and printing it as real. Quiz show. Ray Fiennes plays Charlie Van Doren, the brilliant academic who gets wrapped up in his own ego and starts lying on quiz shows in the 50s. And the last one we're going to do is Big Eyes, which is the only one I've never seen of the series, where Amy Adams has her lame husband, Christoph Waltz, take credit for her paintings. And all of these stories are, I find fascinating because of what they're wrestling with. They either come out of some form of desperation, economic, psychological, relational, eco-driven, and the act of fraud helps answer some question for them. And these movies really celebrate kind of the undercurrent of whatever is going on with them. So I am deeply inspired by stories inspired by true events, especially when they're about people lying. For some reason, I think there's a little bit of sociopathy baked in there, but these are this is a great exploration of what it is that drives people to do the things they do. And I think putting a label on whatever it is I'm working on that says this is a thing that's going to be truth helps me not wrestle with the wrong thing. When I was writing the ADHD book, all the stories in there are from my life, and that means I don't have to worry about the creativity of inventing anything from cloth. I get to just find a way to make my life serve as a warning for others. I think that is helpful, and I kind of live more in that space probably than the complete fabulist.
Do you tend towards documentaries and stuff more than fictional things?
Not at all.
Oh, interesting.
I do love a good documentary, but I'll take fiction almost every time.
Interesting.
If you're looking for a couple more, and I haven't seen these, they're on my list, but there's that one movie that was all about the whole Theranos scam.
Yes, that's a newer one. I haven't seen that yet.
And there's another one that it's not quite in line, but I feel like you could maybe in spirit be able to use it. I think it's called The Luckiest Man on Earth.
Yes.
It's about the guy. Everyone was sure he was committing fraud, but he was not. It's about the guy who figured out how Match Game worked.
No, it was Press Your Luck.
Press Your Luck, sorry. Who was able to figure out how it worked, and there was no fraud, but he kind of like watched the show and examined it enough to be able to break it. And he was accused of fraud a lot as he was winning.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Neither. I haven't seen any of those.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so I'll take the role of the fabulist then, because I say lie to me. I don't like when I watch any of those things. I don't want historical accuracy. Like if I want that, there are history books, and there's also history. When they're making a movie of a thing like a drama, I don't care about historical accuracy at all. Like I want you to tell me the story the way you want to tell it to me. Like I would prefer Rocket Man or Bohemian Rhapsody, which have huge amounts of lies, as opposed to the other ones who are strictly we stick to the facts, because fantasy to me is more interesting than reality. We have a lot of reality, but I'd rather have more fantasy. So I try and in my own stuff try to have as much human things in them. And so like I've had stuff, I mean the play that's published is based on true events, pretty loosely though, not enough to like that someone would sue. It really happened, and then it's sort of like like a one sentence, and then everything else goes off from there.
Right.
So there is a little bit of like catching on to real life and putting real things in. But yeah, I in my stuff I really don't. I'm not interested in doing any type of like historical thing to like tell the story of X, Y, or Z. I like when someone does it well, but that's like I'm not interested in trying to like make sure that the facts are right. The facts are right because I say they're right, and not because of reality.
There's a really interesting point in there, Kyle, because I will say, like,
thank God, because I lost the thread somewhere along the way.
No, I was listening. I think that there is, I'm not always looking for the literal factual truth, and all of these movies have been a real sort of a litmus test for me, because normally when it says based on a true story, I'm suspect because of honestly the Steve Jobs movie. Like that is an area that I know a lot about, and that movie got so much wrong, and I was
we
mad.
talked about that, and also like Saturday Night for me too.
Yes.
I was watching that like, ooh, no.
Right. But then you look at movies like, I mean, God, you mentioned Rocket Man and the other one you just mentioned, Bohemian Rhapsody. It makes me think of Better Man, right? Better Man tells the story of Robbie Williams. Robbie Williams replaces himself with a monkey in that movie, and by doing that, he tells the emotional truth of all of these elements without needing to burden the film with so much historical accuracy, and you still feel like you were told the truth. It's just kind of a truth with quotes around it, and I walk out of that movie and I'm still okay. And that movie was transcendent. It was so good.
One of the most amazing depictions of anxiety ever.
Yes. Oh,
Like you
God.
understand sort of an anxiety attack in a whole different way once you see that. It was incredible. And
Yep.
once again, it's a guy who's CG'd into a chimp.
Yep.
And yet somehow it's true.
All to answer the question of how do you see yourself, Robbie Williams?
Yeah.
I see myself like a performing monkey dragged on stage for others' entertainment.
Mhm.
That's the core truth of the movie, and that
Yeah.
comes across in spades.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been seeing so many things that I find myself then Googling it, going like, how much of this is true? And was that
Yeah.
really, and did they, Baby Driver was one that everybody was watching. And it was like, I mean, obviously he expanded on the truth, but most of the story was true. And it's just the most outrageous thing. And I think I think sometimes for me, it grounds it in a way. Like I get adrenaline in my body, excited adrenaline when someone is going to tell me a story like that really happened in a like safe way. Do you know what I mean? If it was on the news, I'd be like, oh God, oh no, that's terrible. The world is unsafe. But because they did it in this form, it's like, it's this peeping Tom thing that or what peeping Tina, I guess, in my case, like I just get so excited by it. Like it really ramps it up for me. I get doubly invested.
I just, a point of clarification, Baby Driver was an original Edgar Wright. Are you thinking of a different movie? Because now I want to know what movie that was.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, wait. No, Baby Reindeer. Baby Reindeer.
Baby Reindeer.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
That's a
He
little
drove during Baby Reindeer.
It's like,
so that's
I was like,
what
I'm
must
pretty
have-
sure
there are
Baby
cars in the
Driver.
movie. There are cars in the movie. So no, I'm not wrong. There were babies
Yeah,
and there were
no,
drivers.
this is true.
Yes.
The emotional
I'm not
truth was
wrong.
present.
Yeah, there
the emotional
are
truth.
drivers in Baby Reindeer, but there are no reindeer in Baby Drivers. So
Yes,
all right,
that's
we
right.
got
Covered.
that squared away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bases
Jesus, oh my
covered.
God, that must have been confusing for a second.
Yeah, for just a second.
I
Yeah.
think both Pete and I were like searching through our mental Rolodex. I'm like,
What is she
pretty
talking
sure.
about? Get her,
I don't
get
know
her,
if you
what
can
is
see
it?
both of us looked up into the opposite side. Huh?
I was just thinking when he drifted around that corner, there was some real emotional truth to that moment.
God, it really pulled me one way and then the other. Yeah.
Where do you land on this, Dalton?
I'm not inclined. I mean, I'm fine with like based on a true stories if they're compelling. It doesn't typically, and I say this, I'm sure there's exceptions. Like if I had some titles in front of me, I wouldn't typically say it enhances my enjoyment of it. Just because I love fiction so much.
I'm dying to make so many jokes right now. About enhancing your enjoyment, but I'm not going to do it.
Man, and you could tell I'm on allergy medicine because I did not even realize what I said. But with this last adventure, there were scenes that were definitely taken from life. They weren't exactly as they happened, but I was glad that my family was okay with me borrowing some family stories to adapt. So in that kind of book, I feel like it really helped, just because in among the little bits of fantasy sequences, there was supposed to be a lot of things that were going to feel true enough to resonate with people. And so being able to use actual real stuff as the basis for that, I do think was very helpful, because I had a lot of people who came to me saying how much they identified with it and how real it felt and how much it some of the things mirrored things that they had experienced, even if they were going through things with family that didn't have Alzheimer's, like the character, but they had other things, that there was still a kernel of truth in there for them as well. So I do think it definitely enhanced that book. Now my other books are sci-fi mostly, so
all true.
It's all true. Yeah, can't really talk about it beyond that. But
I have a follow-up question specifically for you, Ryan. One, do you clear things with your family before you're going to use elements of things that have actually happened, if it's a family thing? And then two, are there, even though you're writing sci-fi, are there themes that are true for you? Like, do you
good
work
questions.
As your counsel, I advise you not to answer the first question and just move on to the second question.
Okay,
well, no, I'm dying to know that. Like, how far can you go?
I will exert my Fifth Amendment rights on advice of counsel, and I will see you later. So I did sort of in general make sure before, because I knew I was going to have to do that. I made sure beforehand that family was okay with me taking some stuff that had really happened and sort of generalizing it a little bit. And fortunately, that like I didn't have any pushback at all. They were all totally cool with it. Um, as far as the other books, yeah, I mean, I always, something that I always like will say, like when I teach classes, is that you can make a story that's as fantastical as you absolutely want to, and the readers will go along with you, as long as your characters think, act, and feel like actual people.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
there has to be truth in the sense that they feel like real people that are going through real things, having real person reactions and doing the things a real person would. And that has to be there in order for the reader to engage with everything else. So I guess on a general level, I do have to make sure that the people feel real. Sometimes I do take mannerisms from people I know or have met. Sometimes they will say something that I will literally say, if someone says something that I latch onto, I will pull out my phone immediately and say, that's going in a book, and I'll write it down. And typically
They all
they don't
think you're
object.
joking for about 2 years. And
Uh-huh.
then,
I know. To be a writer is to be a magpie. Like,
yeah,
ooh,
right.
I'm going to save that for later.
Yeah, at least in the moment, they're usually flattered, like, oh, well, sure, yeah, put it in a book. But yeah, I think on certain levels there has to be truth in every book in that way,
Mhm.
even if your events are completely out of the realm of truth.
So, a clarification question on that answer. When you are writing in truth, especially Last Adventure, where you're taking things from the family, did you find you asked permission before you wrote, or asked forgiveness after you wrote it?
About specific scenes, I never asked. I only asked in general, are you cool with me using some stuff that I know happened?
Yeah.
And then, if there had been a particular scene or a line that somebody was like genuinely upset by, I would probably have revisited it in some way. But I didn't get any pushback like that
Yeah.
ever. So it wasn't a concern. So it was more of an in general thing that I was just like, hey, you're cool
Yeah.
with me like doing that. And then I just assumed that I had permission and moved on.
Yeah. So that thing with the granddad and the pony and the jello, that was all. That was like covered under the
I mean,
blanket.
I did change the names, but
Yeah, I
Of
see.
course, Jello's a
That's what's,
trademark.
that's what's fun about the end is that I have killed many bosses over the course of my writing career, but they would never know.
Right. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
interesting.
Yep.
So
Yes.
you channel actual oh my
Oh,
God,
yes.
your
Yeah.
rage.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I have a lot of catharsis. There's a lot of blood in between the lines on my pages. Not for
Oof.
me.
Oof.
Nice.
I
Mandy,
like
what about you? I mean, when I watch your stuff, I always assume it's like all you.
yeah, I've written I've written like 3 movies about mothers leaving their children. So that's not true.
Something
But
to
I
look
would
forward
say,
to.
yeah, not yet, knock wood. But I think it's probably, that's like my worst kind of fear, right? Like, or that's the darkest part of, I can understand, even though I really didn't have I didn't have postpartum or anything serious like that. I really did enjoy being a mom, but I could understand that would be the worst and hardest decision that a woman could make and maybe would have to make for whatever reason. So I actually have written like 3 different things or made films about mothers not getting to be with their children in that way. And I've written a lot of movies about friends fighting. So and Somebody's Mother is a short film that I did that's like absolutely autobiographical. I mean, it is about a woman who has young kids and her mom starts dating and brings home her new boyfriend for the Christmas holidays. And that actually happened. My mom, when my dad died, after a respectful period of grief, she was dating like crazy. And I kind of just dreamed up this movie that was not me. The characters, all the names were changed, but it was definitely events in my life that I was kind of sorting out of like, who is the mom here? Because she's the one running off like a giddy teenage girl and not showing up for Christmas Eve and springing a new guest on me at the last minute. And so I
Yeah.
was kind of working that out. What I didn't know was how I was going to feel after I had shot the film, edited the film, completed the film, and then showed my mom. And as I turned it on for her, I was like, and I think I literally said, I was like, oh, if you don't like it, I don't have to show it to anybody. Like, which was a lie. I was like, what am I going to say if she says don't show it to anybody? I'm like, what? What am I going to do? Thank God she was like weeping and saw it as a love letter to her, because it wasn't mean-spirited. It was just,
Right.
you know.
I could really see like a scene of her like, okay, don't show it. And then later like, oh no, Mom, someone stole my film and put it in all these festivals. I have nothing to do with it. I'm so sorry.
I've tried to track her down.
I got hacked, and my film
Did you hear about the
producer
Sony hack? I mean, I wasn't part of it, but it's like that.
They're going
they
across the
got it.
country with this thing. I mean, we're trying to stop them, but now they've gone to Europe. It's crazy.
I'll also say it is funny how, but the things people will read, or I wonder actually if it's the same for film, if they know you've done, they know you've made it. Like sometimes I'll have someone like a friend or family talk about something that a character said in a book, as if they believe that I must believe that, or that must be me, or like they think every character is you. And if a character says something or believes something, it must be you saying it. And I've had to educate some people who are like don't normally like talk with authors and things like, no, those are, just think of those as other people. Those are I don't have to share beliefs with them. So it's not all me saying this.
I do that with actors, for God's sake. I mean, don't you like, right?
Yeah.
If you listen to them on a podcast or you watch their show, like religiously, and then if you ever get the chance to see them or see that they're going to be in town doing a show or whatever, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's my best friend. I have to be there. It's crazy how you kind of like, it feels so real. And I do think that like that's what good writing is, though, is like, I don't, it's not me and all of my characters because I'm just not that interesting. It's more that what I think is interesting about people. So in that way, it's filtered through my point of view. I've taken what I think is the most interesting and maybe a little bit dangerous and weird and funny thing about characters that's real to me, and then I put that in.
So, yeah, so for all these out there who you're getting in an intense situation and you say, and someone says something and you say something incredibly stupid, and then like the next day you're in the shower and you think of, that's what I should have said.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're a writer. Now you can make that scene into something, and you can be like, oh, what a savage takedown, and then get that loop out of your head.
I really like that take on it. I really like the idea that you get to live your best life by writing things that are, cooler and sexier and smarter and maybe even more vengeful and violent than you are.
Yeah.
That's really fun, but an honest instinct anyway. Should we, do we have any, are we ad supported this week?
Yes, I believe we do have a
I
sponsor.
wouldn't. Yes?
No, because we separate editorial from ad sales, so we don't know. This is completely new to us.
My gosh.
But I believe, let's throw to a sponsor.
Let the games begin. Hello, fellow humans. One thing that we all both love and totally understand is gambling. Placing money on the outcome of random events. What a thrill. Automobile racing, sports ball, chinchilla fights, who knows who will prevail? But here is a fact that's fun. Did you know that 99% of people who gamble lose their money? It's true. It causes undue strain on relationships and employment. We here at The Other Orange have a new idea. If you're going to throw your money away, why not throw it at us? Take half of what you were going to be losing on your bets and give it to us. What will we do with the money? That's the fun part. You don't know. Will we train owls to steal backwards ball caps? Or paint a building to look like a nearby smaller building? Or give it to our new friend Randy, who says he has an investment opportunity that can't lose? Who knows? Definitely not you, though. The Other Orange. Goods, services, and now a secret third thing. Give us your money and no one gets hurt.
You know,
it had me at chinchilla fights.
Yes, chinchilla fights and backwards baseball cap.
It makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
It's sports ball. Did you say sports ball?
Oh God! The moment that music started, my first thought and only thought was, "Thank God, The Other Orange is back."
Oh,
I was
yeah.
worried that they might not have the budget this season, but thank God
I
they're
think
back.
I think we're still the only podcast they sponsor. So
I think they're
That's
doubling down,
amazing.
actually.
yeah,
I think
Double
they really like
down.
cutting edge content. You know what I mean? The
Sure
fact that
Yeah.
do.
we're just not afraid to say it like it is,
Not
Yeah.
us.
you know?
that's I was a post came up on Tumblr that said like every ad, and it's like a mildly attractive person says, "Hey, times are hard right now. Have you thought about gambling?" It's like oh wow,
That's where we
Yeah.
are then, huh?
that's
As a
where we
people.
are. That's where we
Great.
are, huh?
Oh,
Mhm.
God. Yeah, it's so fun at first, isn't it? Um, such a good time. I used to just go up to blackjack tables and throw them $100 bill and be like, all right, that's pretty much how it's going to go, right? See ya. I'll just leave this here. That was
Just
back in
all
the
in
day.
and walk away.
Yeah.
And then I quickly ran back and got my hundo. I'm not like,
Oh well, sure.
not a high roller or anything. All right, well, I have another question to ask you guys. This may make you uncomfortable. This is something that I've had to encounter, but I'm genuinely curious about the idea, especially as an artist, especially as you're beginning in doing this kind of thing. And I imagine we might have a few people listening who are beginning, maybe. It's the idea of fake it till you make it.
Hmm.
And what's honest. Like, have you ever had like when I started to do comedy, right? Like I had not really like I auditioned for this thing. I hadn't ever done improv, and I just kind of figured out that like I'm going to just put myself in the place that I want to be. So I got into the B company of this comedy thing, and then I went to all of the A company rehearsals and just sat there like for months. And then I would go to every show even though I was not invited. I wasn't disinvited, but I just like kept showing up and kept showing up and kept showing up. And in a way it was kind of fake it till you make it. Like, and certainly, you know, in business meetings sometimes like, or I just wonder if there's ever been a moment or something where you realized, oh, I have to be bigger than I feel right now, or I have to pretend to know more because I know I'm going to be able to figure it out. Like, you know, when you started writing, was there something that you had to be like, I'm just going to act like a world-class blank, hopefully playwright, novelist, writer, podcaster, but you know, hopefully not you know what I mean? Not a world-class that. But was there ever, you know, a fake it till you make it moment for you where you had to be it before you were it?
I know Kyle has one, but don't worry, he won't attach his name or contact information to it.
That's right. You'll never know. You'll never know.
I can kick this off. You know, I called myself a writer since I was a kid. Since I always saw myself and referred to myself that way, even when through a lot of years I did it just a little bit as a hobby. I hadn't yet decided to pursue it as a like a profession. I just it just felt right to call myself that, and um, it just became more true over time as I actually started doing it. You know, once I started getting paid to do it, I started calling myself an author. That's just how I referred to myself. I never do that with anybody else. But so yeah, I guess in a sense, yeah, I always kind of saw one of those like visualizations of myself as something that I was not yet becoming for years, and I do think it helped along the way when I finally did it.
Did you know it was going to be books? Did you see yourself at a specific kind of like, were you in Maui looking out at the ocean? You know what I mean? Like, was there something that was your big, like, oh, this is what I'm going towards? Or was it
Well, it
just
was always
writer?
books. It was always books more than anything. And I like writing lots of different things. I actually, even though I've never done it professionally, enjoy writing screenplay styles because I mean, it goes towards my strengths of what I'm good at writing anyway.
Yeah.
But I knew that professionally I wanted to do not because those are the things that as a kid onward I fell in love with,
Mhm.
and that's what I wanted to be able to create. And then, you know, I was 10 years old and had a friend publish a book at that point, and that was the first actual real life person I knew that had something that was on shelves. And so that was another step along the way of like, oh yeah, a normal person can do this. And so, yeah, just always, and I never really knew that anybody else noticed that I did that. But some of my family pointed out at one point after I had gotten my first book contract and everything, they were like, well, you always called yourself a writer. So you just kind of made it come true. And at that point, I realized, oh, yeah, I did always call myself a writer, even when I wasn't doing it. So if maybe that was a little more fake it till you make it to me, not really
Yeah.
to anyone else. But I do think it contributed.
Well, the fact that you said it out loud to other people. I mean, if they heard
Yep.
you say it, you were faking it till you made it, but you were
That's
just
true, I
confident
guess. Yeah.
that's what you were, which is very cool.
Yeah. I just never questioned that. I felt like that was part of the whole core of me, even when I wasn't doing it as a pro yet. So yeah, I guess I did do it outwardly some more than I realized.
A bit of a hallmark for me is knowing that there is truth when I walk into a room where I am objectively underqualified, that the answer in my head is, I don't know how to do what I'm being asked to do, but I'm sure I'll be able to know by tomorrow, is the same as saying out loud, yes. And that's okay, right? Like it's okay to have that kind of confidence when that's the field that I'm in. And it certainly was the case when I started podcasting, 20 years ago. Was, nobody even knew what to do with it. So luckily, nobody I was in a room with had the answers either. So I could say yes and, figure it out on the way, because nobody else knew what the answers were that they were asking for. So it was the perfect kind of test. I wish more tests were like that.
That's interesting. So there wasn't a lot of it going on. So you didn't feel as much pressure to sort of hit some bar or something. It was just kind
Right.
of, but really the first time you ever even, so when you put together a podcast, you didn't have like poser syndrome, or is that what they call it? Poser syndrome?
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Poser feelings.
Posership. I think that's what it is.
Jesus.
Posership,
Okay,
yeah.
it's late for me. I am in London and very British right now.
Oh my God, we know.
We know, Mandy. God.
Guys, I mentioned I went to Portugal. Anyway, go ahead.
Is it almost tea time? Okay, we get it. Sheesh.
I think I came out of broadcast. I came out of television, and so the act of being on a podcast or hosting a podcast was not a thing I ever had any real trouble with, because I was trained to be on camera or on mic, and so that was easy. The harder part was figuring out how to sell it and figure out what I was selling, because there were a lot of podcasts at the time, but they were all like nerdcasts and nobody knew how to make money from them. They were all just fun. And I was going out there to businesses saying, I will podcast you and it will be good for brand. And I don't know what is it's the underpants gnome syndrome, right? Steal underpants, question mark, profit. I was living in the question mark. And that was, but you figure it out. You figure it out because I was confident in all of the surrounding skills. The hole in the middle, I felt like would come into focus once we started doing it. I just had to work with enough people that felt comfortable in that uncertainty that we all just kind of learned together.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then as it gets bigger, was there ever something like when you were writing your book? Was that a thing? Was that your first book?
There was a lot of uncertainty for that because we were approached by the publisher. The publisher had been listening to the podcast and said, "Hey, you podcast, you think book maybe?" And we said, "Okay." And
I
we
like
didn't
that everyone
know.
in your world talks like
Yeah.
cavemen.
I've decided that's my
So
thing
much
today.
simpler.
Who knows what's the cave talk? It really exemplifies uncertainty. That's what's going on in my head. You think maybe book? That's what I felt like. It's amazing. So there was an enormous amount of imposter syndrome there because I had written a number of books that had never seen light beyond my desk drawer, and so this was one that they wanted, and we'd have to give to them, and they would do things with it, and we didn't know what those things were. It was just figure it out. So yeah, there was a lot of imposter syndrome there. I remember the first time we have a friend in town who does talent salons. They invite friends over to perform talent in their living room. And it's really quite a lovely thing. And usually I'll sing or play the piano or something like that. But for the first time the year we'd written the book, We had not sent it to the publisher yet. And I said, I'm going to do a reading. And I read a chapter on failure that I had written. And like the 10 people in the room applauded. And I was like, oh, crap. Okay. I get it now. Like all at once. I'd spent hours and hours at the Barnes and Noble coffee shop in our neighborhood writing this stupid book, and now I understand why. And that was the moment the imposter syndrome just kind of unlocked, and that was pretty cool. I don't know. Did I answer your question? I may have gotten off track with the cave talk.
No, you keep calling poser syndrome imposter syndrome, but we can cut that out.
Okay, I'll talk to the editor.
Pete makes words good.
Indeed.
Kyle too.
So, I'll set this writing stuff aside because it has its own ups and downs. But like the other thing that we're doing is it's happening right now, which is podcasting. So I had never, it didn't exist. And then I started listening to Adam Curry on my iPod, like when it first started. And I was like, this is really cool. I wonder if this is going to go anywhere. And now, flash forward 20 years later. But, but I never had envisioned that being a host or a personality or whatever. And it was just this gradual process of like, well, I could probably do something like this. And then it was like, all these things kept coming along to say, well, I could do that. Well, I could also do this. And then, when I made my own stupid little Marvel show that nobody would listen to, and then said to Andy and Pete, who are podcast people who are making money off podcasts, went, you should come on and do stuff with us. And it was just like, I just kind of kept saying yes. But the whole time going, I'm not really good at this. I'm enthusiastic about the things I like, but I'm pretty much bad at all the rest of it. But it just kept coming along. And so then when I finally got a chance to do my own show, then I got a chance to interview somebody who was like accomplished and knew all these things. And I was like, oh, this has to be like a thing where I have to like know what I'm talking about, because I don't know how to interview. I've never taken any journalism classes. I don't know anything about this, but I have to like do my homework and show up. And in the process of doing that, they said, wow, you know what? You're really good at this. And that was you, Mandy Fabian.
She was totally mystified the whole time.
This is based on a true story.
This is a true story, and you were there. This was when we did Curiosity Codex together. I was the whole time going like, I am so out of my depth. I don't know what I'm doing. And you said, you're really good at this. You ask really good questions. And you even said at one point, you would do really well in Hollywood because you are really good at asking people questions about themselves, and that's what people in Hollywood like to answer.
Yeah, and weren't all of my episodes like 3 hours long? Because you said, "What are you up to?"
There were 300 of them. And I listened to every one of them, and they were all great. And that's exactly it. That's the unlock imposter syndrome issue, because you could hear you, Kyle, get better. With every one of those 300 episodes.
So you made me a better podcaster, man.
Talk about fake it till you make it too, because during that process, I remember being like, oh my God, why would anybody care about what I've been doing? I had to sort of pretend like, in the beginning, honestly, I had to pretend like something that I had been through would be interesting to anyone, or that I was even qualified to talk about it.
Yeah.
That was
and we thought we were going to like cover the whole thing in 3 hour-long episodes, and it ended up being like 40. I think.
I don't think it was 40.
I think it was around 30.
It was 30.
Yeah.
No, it was really, really fun. Yeah.
38. Oh, Pizza's 38. Okay.
Yeah, that was also, so we had a double fake it till you make it, because I was also, and honestly, when you were talking about connecting with fans, I was listening to the episode from the last time that we all were together, and it was so interesting because I was like, wow, I got so thrown by the idea of fandom, because I instantly got that like, I don't have any fans. I don't know about fans. It brought up such a like fake it till you make it kind of thing, because you haven't unpacked it. I have just one last question, and then we can go to or should we just go to our sponsor now? And then we can go
Sure.
to one
Whatever
last.
you think. You're the
Sure,
boss
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
I don't remember how long
You're the
these go.
captain now.
I know. The thing is, I black out usually for about half of these. So I can't remember how long they're supposed to be. Or what.
We're entering the we're on approach.
Yeah.
Let's just
Okay,
say
we're
that.
on approach. Great.
Yeah.
Well, then I think we should go ahead. Let's go ahead and just take our little. Let's go
Second.
listen to the people who make this show possible. The
Mhm.
ones
Yes.
signing our paychecks this week.
Mhm.
And Summer Home Money. This is our Summer Home Money sponsor, right?
Right. Portugal money. Good.
Yeah,
Okay. Here we go.
This episode is brought to you by The Last Apple. We're different than other corporations you may have heard from on certain podcasts. Oh, it's fun to hear about goods and services, but let's be honest, you don't really need more of those, do you? No. What you, the discerning and dutiful consumer, need is to be freed from the burden of ownership. That's why we at The Last Apple buy everything and rent it back to you. Home goods, basic widgets, computing power, your favorite music, even other corporations and the goods and services they offer. We consume them all and then return them to you at a reasonable, eternal monthly rate. Now, you may know of some resource or citrus-themed corporation we haven't consumed on your behalf, and to that we say, give it time. They will be ours soon enough, and then, and only then, can they be yours as well. Yes, why weigh yourself down with the drudgery of ownership, with its endless upkeep and worries of loss, or worse, depreciation, when we can shoulder the burden for you? The Last Apple. Because someone has to own it all.
I had no idea
Wow.
this episode was going to be brought to you by Inshitification.
Shots fired. I feel like we're at ground zero between corporate warfare. Like,
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
I
have
like
to
the other
go-
orange has a nemesis out there.
Yeah.
yeah.
The other orange in the last apple. I guess I'm going to have to do the tired banana for next time.
Hey.
Wah, wah.
I don't. That sounded dirtier than I meant it. All right. I don't know. That's just how my brain works. Okay. I have okay. That's actually a good segue into my last question. I don't know if you guys actually you may need some time to think about this, but I think it's actually really fun. Like, so there are different ideas in comedy about like what kind of comedy you like. Like, it's funny because it's true, right?
Mhm.
Or like, do you like observational stand-up comedy, or do you prefer the absurdness of Monty Python, or how about like a totally, pointed satire? Like, what rings your funny bones? Because I'm always wondering, like, what is funny? I know it has to be funny for you if you're gonna make something funny, but like, where does truth in comedy play out?
Okay.
Is this a large question?
I'll go first. I generally think just like the raw nerve is tickled when it's surprise plus like recognition,
Mhm.
right? Not just I didn't expect that, but I didn't expect you to say or do the quiet part out loud, right? That is generally funny to me. If it's slightly wrong and also deeply accurate, whatever it is. Timing also
Mhm.
critical.
Timing also.
I think a mediocre joke with like perfect timing beats a perfect joke with mediocre timing,
Mhm.
right? So there's the performative aspect of it. But I also think that I swing with the times. Like, I want absurdism when the world feels too literal and hard, and I want satire when someone powerful is getting away with nonsense, and I want character driven heart when I need to remember that humans are complicated organisms instead of just annoying. And with that, I have to say right now, I am such a sucker for Shrinking, and I just watched the current episode last night as we record this, and my God, you guys, I was weeping with humor and joy and heart. Like, it is just one of the best expressions of human like sacredness and humility and humor that I know on television right now. It's just fantastic. So, yeah, that's like class A comedy for me right now.
I love that. That's great. I I'll go next. I'll give you guys a little time to think. But my girls and I stumbled upon well, not stumbled upon, Will and Grace. I had never
Mm.
watched it. I think I was just busy and running around, and then by the time I was gonna go around to it, I think Grace was already married, and I was like, "That's not fun." So, I just never watched it. Um,
A theme.
but
A theme is developing.
Yeah, right.
exactly. All the single ladies. So I watched it with my girls just to be like, this is classic sitcom. Nobody writes a joke better than Max Muchnick. And it's actually a lot of insult humor. And there's so many jokes you just could not get away with today, really.
Right.
And I mean, I find myself being like, oh, but you can't laugh at that. Not now. I mean, you can in our
Yeah.
living room. But you should never make that joke at school or whatever. And it's so much like, but it's just such goofy character driven stuff that also has heart. And it's like the timing, the rhythm, just the preciseness of those jokes. They're not all perfect, but I swear almost every episode you get one that you're like, you just know that in the writer's room, they were like, ah. And
Yeah.
usually I think those are the ones that are like, that are the ones that really skewer character, like nail something to the wall in terms of its truth and then how they said it.
Yeah, and those kind of shows were great because you had developed the rhythm of it, that Grace would say something and the camera will just turn to Karen and the
Oh,
audience is already laughing because it's like, oh boy, here we go.
here it
Like
comes.
Yeah.
that's when like, and there's a laugh before it because like, oh man, I don't know what's about to happen, but it's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's one of the best parts when timing is actually ahead of the joke,
Yeah.
that you trust the script and you trust those people to deliver it right so much that you're willing to give of yourself to laugh before you even hear it. And I think
That's right.
Sean Hayes is one of the masters at that.
Mhm.
Karen, what's her name? Why can't I think of her name? Come on,
Megan
you guys.
Megan
Mullally.
Mullally.
Megan
Mhm.
Mullally is an absolute expert at that, and those two were truly comic anchors on that show.
Yeah. Their physical comedy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that has been totally tickling our funny bones these
Oh
last
yeah,
couple
but
weeks.
I've been sitting here pondering because I just love comedy so much and so
Mhm.
many different varieties. Sometimes it just depends on my mood. There's some things I don't respond to as much, like the I'm funny because I'm edgy
Mhm.
comedy does not do much for me. It has like a real try hard vibe to me that I don't care for, and I feel like most of it's
Ooh.
fake. Um, but aside from that, there's a range of comedy that I love. Like I'm a huge old school Monty Python fan.
Mhm.
I like super dry British humor. In fact, I remember back in my old corporate days, I did not belong in that world at all. I was giving a PowerPoint presentation and I slipped in a couple of joke slides along the way,
The
and they got
large.
yeah, they got, I mean, crickets is being generous on the slide. And my boss afterwards, who was actually a cool guy, he said, your dry sense of humor doesn't really land with everybody. Just so you know, he's like, he wasn't even like downing on it. I think he was trying to like make me feel better. He was like, it's just not for everybody. And I was like, yeah, I was starting to see that there was really, they weren't really into it. But I was trying to think, okay, if I had to distill it down to what most consistently like tickles me or I enjoy or makes me laugh, yeah, it's really good rhythms in character based dialogue and,
Mhm.
and interactions. Um, and if it's funny anyway, but it's delivered, whether it's on the page or on screen with like that rhythm that's just so like pleasing on an elemental level that you can't even really describe. It's just there. I love that. I have some little video clips bookmarked that I'll just go back to and watch, and they're 10 20 seconds long, but the
Mhm.
exchange is so perfect to me that I just love it. I'll give you an obscure example. It was from the first episode of the Orville. um,
Mhm.
so a guy is demonstrating to the captain and the first officer there's this beam that's in reality it's like a time acceleration beam, but to demonstrate, he puts a banana in the beam and he turns on the beam, and in seconds the banana just rots and withers.
So it's an anti-banana ray.
It's really interesting.
We need no longer fear the banana.
Does it work on all fruit?
What about salads?
Do you understand what happened to this banana? It's rotten because a month has passed.
Since we got here, yeah, that's what it feels like.
And it was just so snappy, and the rhythm was just perfect, and I will sometimes go back to that and other little scenes like that, because not only is it funny, but it's creatively pleasing and fulfilling to watch as well. So it's probably what I respond to most consistently.
I just, you saying that made me think of, I love the Zucker brothers stuff, that they would just have like what would be now a top tier joke, and they would just put it in the background. One of my favorite ones is they're walking through a hospital and you hear the doctor standing over the patient. And these are not our main characters. The main characters are literally walking by this, and the doctor says,
Mrs. Nordberg, I think we can save your husband's arm. Where would you like it sent?
And then the characters then just they start the scene, and it was like that. He just like they just threw it away, just like. I love it. I love that kind of stuff. I am a big fan of stand-up comedy, and so I like watching all sort of the different generations. And I know that's like general in terms of like, hey, I like things that are funny, but like, there's we can narrow it down, but that would be a whole nother
but there's
episode.
A lot of different styles.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, and just like Ryan was talking about, like I don't really like the ones who are just like, yeah, you're gonna hate me, but I love it. So you have sort of like the guys like Patton Oswalt or whatever, who are just great at you can stand up for a mic and just that's it. They can just make you laugh for an hour, like because they have all the stuff in their head and they can do it, and I love that. But the next generation of comedians that are coming up are now doing really interesting things with technology and PowerPoints and dancers, and I mean all this like and Bo Burnham I think is sort of like what we think of as the first person who did this, and now everybody's starting to do it now. But I've seen all these incredibly creative things where these comedians, this class, I guess, are like, you're paying attention, you're listening, because I'm going to say something, and in 45 minutes, the punchline's going to hit. And they know that people, if you're in it, you're going to get it. If not, they don't care. And they also it's sort of like the YouTube generation thing of like, you can rewind it. Like they're not living in this, sort of Jack Benny, like I'm going to do it once and then that's it. It's the idea is like there's rewatchability to it, and so like I'm the one I gotta think of that made me think of it when Pete was talking was because we watched when we were on our boys trip last year. I said, "Have you seen Rose Matafeo's Horn Dog?" And he's like, "No, I have not." I'm like, "Well, then that's what we're gonna do for the next hour." And we sat down and watched it, and it's one of the best stand-up comedy things. And like I cannot even begin to tell you how that special ends. It's unbelievable, like the journey she goes on, and then how she does her coda at the end. It's amazing. But the clip I'm gonna send, and it'll be in the show notes, is by a guy named Kurt Braunholer, who's sort of the Patton Oswalt generation. But he, in his last comedy special, he has a thing where he talks about a woman in Georgia whose house had 120,000 bees living in it. And she had to call people out to do that. And he takes this true story and expands it out, and it's like 5 minutes of material, and it's poetry. Like the way he does it, he just escalates and escalates and escalates and still going. And I've watched that clip, I can't tell you how many times, and like the words he chooses, the timing of it, like it's just absolutely like spoken word poetry, like Shakespeare level, and the audience is just absolutely roaring by the end of it. And it's like, even out of context of everything else, like it's this beautiful piece that is just so completely absurd and has something to say and is funny. And yeah, that kind of stuff is still what really gets going. Like when someone could take a simple concept and blow it up to this ridiculous height. Yeah, I'm all about it.
I have a couple of fairly recent ones to recommend to you then, if you're
oh yeah, please.
Sure. Alex Edelman did a special, I think it was a couple of years ago by now. But I mean, it's one of the best I've seen in the last few years. Just not only incredibly witty, but his storytelling is super razor sharp. And he does sort of a thing that I feel like Mike Birbiglia sort of was one who it was. I think of it as the Birbiglia style because I've been a fan of his for a long time.
Storytellers.
One story that he goes multiple levels deep on, and like there's branching other things, but he always comes back to the one story. And it's the core story that he builds and branches off of is how he, as a Jewish man, attends a white supremacist meeting in New York. It's brilliant. And then the one I saw just recently is for anyone who's a Dropout subscriber.
Yes.
And
is it Demi Adoveo?
Yeah,
does a backflip.
It's Demi Adoveo is going to do one backflip.
Yes.
And he's one of those that's like I love it when a comic can just kind of pull you into a world that's a little bit surreal. And he does that. He's super witty and just it has some real moments, but also some very silly moments. And it's just really well done comedy and very, very sharply done. And that's one that I've watched more than once, actually.
I got to throw in, just since we're talking about shows that do this, I got to throw in two more things. One, and then I'll shut up, I promise. John Mulaney did a 12 or 8 or 12 episode talk show.
Oh yeah, like live at Netflix.
Yeah, it was a live Netflix thing, and it was weekly, and it was funny because it was chaos. But one of the things that he started to tease early on is that in the last episode he was going to fight 2 teenage boys, and in the finale, and you guys, in the finale, John Mulaney fought 2 teenage boys, and they did. It was fantastic. They also did a call to action in one of the episodes to get every height represented. And so they had people show up and from 5 feet to 6'9" or something, and they ordered them so that he could say, "We got every height represented in a perfect line." That was their big stunt. And it was so funny. So sometimes it's just the personality of the way they pull off stupid things that gets me. But the last one, this is like schadenfreude and joy at the same time. Bob Reese is a parkour athlete and stuntman, and he was on Ninja Warrior. He's a Ninja Warrior pro. And he does a whole series of shorts on YouTube that are all around AI videos are getting too good, right? Where he will do some incredible thing and then cut to the AI model doing the same thing, but very much not. And it just lampoons how bad these AI models are at getting human, real human movement right. And it is, I cry at these things, what they do, what the AI, once you see what a human can do, and then immediately slam into the AI version of Bob Ross, who looks photorealistically like Bob Ross, bouncing off of walls and arms, the entire torso pivots 180 degrees and just goes through walls and lands face first in a cake. Why is a cake there? I don't know, but it just decided a cake needed. It is glorious. So I'll put the link to that search in Bob Ross's profile. You will die. It is the best. So
this makes me very, very happy that we are leaving people with a lot of really comedy gems that they can go scout out. I'm going to go check that out. Did you say Bob Reese or Bob Ross, the painter? No,
it would be better if it was Bob Ross AI doing parkour across the public broadcasting network,
or the AI painter that can only do smiley faces.
He can only do parkour, smiley faces.
Well, thank you all for taking this journey with me this week, and thank you to everybody who joined us and is listening, and we really appreciate you being here and for your time and attention for jumping up that creativity mountain with us. I'm still in the mountain metaphor,
It's good.
I feel like
it's windy up all back.
I feel like we've really hit the peak, and now we're
all downhill from here.
Oh yeah, no, it's downhill. That's better. We'll go back and land. I don't know. I knew I was going to say something clever, but it didn't happen. So thank you for having us. And you can also come talk to us at craftandchaos.fun.
Yes.
It is craftandchaos.fun.
Follow us and rate us and review us and do all those fun things.
Send in questions.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
send
Send
in
a question.
questions. We love answering questions as well. And we will be back in 2 weeks. Go make weird art, right, Kyle?
That's right.
Oh, I stole it.
She stole the catchphrase.